Hi everyone and welcome to this week's edition of GGGaming Gone Mad, coming to you of course live on a Thursday night at 8:30 on yet another bumper sporting weekend. We've got Super Rugby to look forward to this weekend. There's plenty of international cricket, English Premier League and even the Vegas Sevens for those of us who don't enjoy our sleep on the weekend. Going to be excellent sport, and we're going to talk in a few seconds to Gary Lentin from gggaming.bet. Before you do anything though, go to the bottom of this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and you'll be notified of all of our videos when they come up. You don't want to miss our rugby show, The Handicap, and that starts at 9 o'clock tonight. But joining me on the line from Cape Town, it's Gary and Duke. Good to see the two of you. Gary, how are you keeping?
Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you, Brent. Thank you very much. Like I was explaining to you, it's as though Duke knows what's going on. He was in the room sleeping. I come here, I start to wander into the room. As he has your voice, he wants to get picked up. I mean, it's incredible. He never, ever really wants to get picked up. And now he does. And if I don't pick him up, he's going to bark and he wouldn't hear a thing. That, with the fact that the foghorn's going out, that all of a sudden, Mooley Point is just covered in mist, Brent. It's crazy, you know.
Oh, really, eh?
No, we just had the most fantastic weather for the last 2.5 months. And today started to get a bit chillier. And, yeah, all of a sudden the mist is in and the foghorn's going. So it's like the middle of winter today.
Right, and I must say, I don't think Duke's particularly impressed by our conversation because it looks like Duke could be dozing off because I can see Duke's eyes and you can't. And old Duke seems to be dozing off there.
It's a matter of seconds. You know, I think he saw your jersey that said Western Province Currie Cup champions in 2012, and I mean, he just thought that he can't look at that rubbish and boom, off he goes. No, he's gone. I think that's him sleeping, right?
It looks like he's gone now. Brilliant. Well, let's hope the boys on the live chat don't nod off. Good to have them on. Just skimming through some of the names. Vin Naidu, Ruan Fariz in there. We'll talk about Ruan in just a few seconds because, of course, he's still in one of your master punter competitions. Sean Nicholas, Helgaard Vanner, Kevin Turner, Brad Chislett. Good to see you live. Sorry, I haven't mentioned everyone. But, yeah, plenty of sport this weekend. And the boys are firing and ready to punt. And I imagine, Gary, Super Rugby's been a big boost for you from a punting perspective.
No, absolutely. But I just want to say something to the guys that are out there, how the pre-show went, right? Was Brent telling me that my iPad's buggered and I need to get it and can I lift the volume and everything, and he can barely hear me and it's faint and everything. And it just turned out that his volume was at 2 instead of 92. And when he lifted it up, he could hear everything perfect. So,
hey, look, Gary, it must be a pleasure for you to deal with a professional.
No, it was hard to believe, you know what I mean? Hard to believe. It reminds me of that, I mean, I don't know if I told you, that old story, right, with the guy who used to go and he had the hammer and he used to hit hit the wheels on the trains to see if he could shuffle any holes.
Yes.
He kept hitting and he heard the hole and he replaced the wheel and he hit again and he heard the hole and he replaced it. And the first 130 wheels that he hit with his hammer all had holes in it and he replaced all the wheels, and then he found out he had a hole in his hammer. But, anyway, I remember hearing that story in nursery school about 45 years ago. Anyway, yeah, so Brent, no, it is, let's get into the sport because it is busy. And I mean, Super Rugby is the busiest thing that we do. There's no doubt about it. Of course, there's major races like the July and things like that, and things like that specific days. And it's a big horse racing weekend this weekend in Joburg with the SA Classic and the Phillies equivalent as well, and a couple of horses there, 3 horses there that are still allowed to win the Triple Crown. So it is a big weekend for Johannesburg racing, and those are 3 great races, which obviously we're betting on. But to just go back to the Super Rugby, our whole weekend always gets determined by how we go on the rugby. That's how
yes.
Oh, yeah. Every game is just massive, and you know, you sit there and like punters, we know different everything. We always think every ref is against us, and we think every bounce went against us. And at the end of the weekend, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, if you look back, I promise you got exactly the same good bounces and exactly the same bad decisions as everybody else, you know. But I mean, how much fun would Super Rugby be without punting? A lot less, I would think, Brent.
I tell you for one, I don't think I would watch, Gary. I mean, pretty much watch purely for the punting. Just to mention a couple of the live comments, Brad asking if I lost a bet. No doubt a reference to the Western Province shirt. But here's a question for you, Gary. Peter Paul asking, is GGGaming going to price up on markets for the UFC? I think, is that what SuperSport are going to cover, hey?
Yes, we definitely are. Not only that, we've actually got price boosts, and not price boosts, we've actually got some promotions with the UFC as well, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, yes, let me just make this sure. The UFC is the international one. The EFC is the local one, am I right?
Peter Paul, just confirm that, please, because I'm not too sure.
We're definitely going to be betting on the international one. The local one, when we first opened our business, we bet on one. We bet on the first one. And I promise you, never mind the fighters that got knocked out in the first round. We had a bigger headache than them and a bigger took us longer to recover as well. You know, we had a medical timeout for 6 months, you know. So we definitely betting on international stuff that is going to be broadcast on South African TV, you know what I mean? But
yes,
for one, we leave that to some of the bigger, braver bookmakers to do.
All right, just having a look here. Orico Rugby reckons it's fixed. He won't be he won't be betting on it. But yeah, I can imagine you guys took a knock there. Gary, before we get into Super Rugby, I just want to share my screen quickly and let's go straight across to the Master Punter leaderboard, starting with the gold leaderboard. Nighthawk 4,000, Loki 1-2, and Snail on 100. We're down to our final 3 here, Gary, and on the last night, probably not going to be a lot of movement.
No, I don't really see unless Loki's prepared to. I mean, I'm not going to talk the guys into it, but I mean, if it was my strategy, yeah, and if I had to think about it from a poker player's perspective, if I was Loki, he doesn't know what Snail's going to do, right? So
yes,
he wants to protect second. But I mean, if I was Loki, I would go and wager probably 700 or 800 rand and look for something at about 4 to 1. Or, well, that won't be enough. About 6 to 1, and see if you can take that 800 and get ahead of Nighthawk. If I was Nighthawk, I would probably go and wager 1,000 rand on something that's about 12 to 10 or 15 to 10 in case Loki does that. And if that works, then he gets too far ahead. And if I was Snail, I would just look for a Hail Mary somewhere and see if I can fluke into second place or whatever it is. Or look for a 50 to 1 shot, put the 100 on, and you know what I mean? Who knows? Stranger things have happened, right? But that's how I would play it from a poker player's perspective, poker tournament perspective, you know?
Right, well, let's go on to the platinum leaderboard because I want to start then at the bottom on Ruin for you because he's really in the same position as Snail is. Yeah, what you're saying there basically is Ruin's actually got nothing to lose, Gary. I mean, if he loses his 100 rand, he goes out in third spot, he's still going to get paid.
Yeah, but I mean, if he wants about that and doesn't want to end up with money, he can easily, when he puts on 101 or 100, makes no difference, right?
Yes.
So keep the rand there if he wants to. Put the 100 rand onto some 50 to 1 shot, whatever 50 to 1 shot there is. Find a scoreline in a soccer match, whatever it is, and take a dip there, right? Now, he's not in as good a position as a guy coming second in the gold. He needs to find a 12 to 1 shot, right? And if I was PB, I would take 1,000 rand and put that on a 6 to 1 shot or a 5 to 1 shot, just in case. No, I wouldn't even do that. Maybe a 5 to 2 shot, that should be enough for him, you know what I'm saying? And look, all 3 of them are guaranteed prizes. Yeah, and I mean, they got to work out their own strategy. Obviously, they don't know what the other guy's going to do. No, but even like this, even though I think the performances, thank God, all I can say is that it wasn't a competition where GGGaming went up against other bookmakers, right? Otherwise, we would have been humiliated. But I'll definitely continue with another master punt. I'm going to do just one next time, not 2. And the only change that I'm going to make is that I'm going to say for somebody to collect a prize, and I'm not because I'm upset about this, but I'm going to say for somebody to collect a prize, they need to have more than they started at, Brent. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's hard to call yourself a master punt if you with a rand, right? I mean, but look, at least a master punter, both in the gold and the silver and the platinum, should both finish with more than they started. You know what I mean? So at least the winners have shown a profit. You know.
Right. Well, hey Gary, let's quickly have a look while I am sharing the screen. I just want to have a look at your price boost for this week. We've got India against Australia. Australia to win was 15 to 10. Now 18 to 10.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you saw the game last night. You told me you'd been working hard, so you probably didn't, Brent. But so far, if I remember correctly, I think Australia are 2-0 up in the series. Out of the first one, they looked like they should win easily, and then they got into trouble in the second last over, and a big last over to get them out of it. Last night I watched, and Maxwell was absolutely unbelievable. He made it look easy, you know. So yeah, you know, kudos to them for going there and being 2-0 up, and it surprised me and everything. And you know, if they win the next one, let the guys celebrate and take the 18 to 10. It's the biggest prize in the world. They're going to have their work cut out. I'm not sure that I would be chasing off, but in a 2-horse race, 2 evenly matched sides, and they've shown that they are evenly matched. No, I suppose there is value in the 18 to 10. Have a small bet, watch it, have some fun. But I mean,
yeah,
we're going to have another soccer boost tomorrow, definitely. You know what I mean? And that's going to be, I just finalised it. Will go up on the screen tomorrow. It's going to be Liverpool to beat Everton. Liverpool flying again. I mean,
yeah, we're beating my team Watford 5-0. I mean, that I actually thought Watford might get something out of that.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
You know, to be honest with you, I subscribe to one guy. I only subscribe to one person in the world when it comes to tipping or handicapping. And this guy's mainly a golf guy, but he does give some soccer. And his soccer bet yesterday was, you know what I mean, that he thought that Liverpool might stutter. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't. I mean, they were Yeah, from a bookmaker's perspective, last night, obviously things went in the punter's favour. You know what I mean? They got 6 out of 6 favourites, and you know what I mean? Good luck to them. I mean, at the end of the day, including our price boost, which was Chelsea, they won easily. The second goal that Chelsea scored was a great finish. Pity the guy's facing the wrong direction. But yeah, I think that, you know, the Premier League, I think, maybe I'm wrong, Brendan, maybe the guys online can give their opinion. I know that we're mainly a rugby-orientated bunch, but do they not think that the results have been more predictable this season than any other season? I'd like to know what they think.
Well, we'll ask the guys in the live chat if they think the English Premier League has been predicted. They can comment on that when they stop abusing me about Watford's result last night. I'm getting a little bit of abuse in the live chat there. Hey, Gary, before we move on, I had one photo open. I want you to guess what sport I played against. I played my son a sport this weekend. He's 14 years old. Can you guess what sport it is?
What did you tell me the result?
Okay, the result was I nearly drowned.
I say he played in water polo, but one-on-one water polo.
That's the picture there. Someone put the top picture on the group and asked the question, you know, as to whether I was dominating my son, and then they came up with the bottom picture of him dunking me.
Yeah, you don't look happy.
Not happy at all. I could barely swim, I can tell you.
In that top picture there.
Yes.
I mean, you never got to the toilet on time, you know. I'd like to take even there was a chocolate log floating after you got out the pool, you know.
Terrible. Well, Gary, we got Super Rugby this weekend. We got some big games coming up. Certainly some big local derbies as well. What's attracted the early money, or what's a big game as far as GGGaming is concerned?
That everybody before the local derbies like to see what kit the two teams are running out on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe this week they should just put all 30 in the same clothes and let them run around there. You know?
Yes.
What happened in the first half last week was just, I mean, there's nobody checked, Brent. I just don't know.
Oh, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
You know, you're not talking about the Boswell-Wilkie circus or something like this. You're talking about a huge money spinner, right? And one that I'm exceptionally worried about, and something we can discuss at another stage, you know, all the players leaving, not only South Africa, but all the players leaving New Zealand and going on their
yes.
and that. Where will Super Rugby be next season? I mean, to me, it's a competition that's going to be under a huge amount of pressure to still keep going next season. And then they do something so silly with teams where they're almost wearing the same kit. But, okay, so the early money, there hasn't really been a flood of money anywhere. I think the markets are pretty good, Brent. At the end of the day, you know, I mean, the Lions spread, it's a good spread. The Sharks, who knows? The Sharks is a little bit different, am I right, Brent? You're not, well, I mean, both the way side, you're not sure what you're going to get. You're not sure what you're going to get.
Yeah, you're not.
So good at home the week before, and last week they were bad. We could write it off to 100 different reasons. The conditions were crap, you know what I mean? They had to travel there, but now they have to travel back. I would probably ignore that run a little bit because conditions were bad, and there was a chance that the Bulls could win that game quite easily. But we're not 100% certain what we're going to get from the Bulls, right? Then we go back to the Stormers, who the week before against the Bulls was so bad, it was atrocious, right? If they go and they put up that performance against Natal or the Sharks, they're going to get beaten by 20 points a game. Yet they showed a lot of guts in the last half against the Lions last week. So which Bull side and which Stormer side are going to turn up? I think we pretty much know what we're going to get from the Sharks and we know what we're going to get from the Lions. And for that reason, I'm going to go with both home teams to beat the spread.
Right, and we're going to make that the Beat the Cert this week, which the guys will be able to enter that competition on Twitter. Just to give you some feedback, Chris Sturdy reckons EPL results have been predictable. There have been very few surprises. And then Brad Chislitz has popped up with Newcastle 2, Man City 1, Leicester 2, Man City 1, Palace 3, City 2. And I guess both of them make good points. There have been less surprises, but that's not to say there have been no surprises.
Of course, I say there have been no surprises. And in that period where City went mad, that weekend, I think
yes.
around about Christmas time, if I remember correctly, those results were out of control. But I think besides that, I'm talking about the weekly grind. You know what I'm saying? Where
yes,
I mean, where Newcastle, I'm just choosing two teams. Newcastle are at home to Cardiff. You know what I'm saying? Man United are at home to Crystal Palace. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things. Everton are at home to Bournemouth. Arsenal at home to Southampton. I'm not talking about those games. I just
yes.
make names that come to mind. You know, I think that normal daily grind. I think over the season, the results have been more predictable. I'm not talking about from a bookmaker or a punter's perspective
yes.
at all. I'm not complaining. Please don't get me wrong. I just think that when you look at it, you know, I remember when I was 10 years ago, it was so difficult to find a double, let alone a treble in the soccer. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, yeah, you know what I mean? Last night, whatever you took, you couldn't miss. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It happens every week. But I just think the results have probably been, by and large, slightly easier. You know what I mean? And I think that might have a lot to do with the fact that the top 6 or 7 sides are so much better than the bottom 6 or 7.
Yeah, there's a big gap between 7th and 6th there, Gary. I mean, does this statement make any sense? The less surprising the results, the more surprising the surprises, if that makes sense. And there's a team like City is winning. So when they do get beaten, it stands out as a massive surprise. But there really aren't many of them at all.
No, they aren't. You know, I mean, City were the one that battled the most last night. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I just think that, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a great league, isn't it? Brent, for punting or non-punting, whatever it is, you know, it is a great league, and it's really, and the whole story that go behind it, the managers that are coming and going, you know what I mean, the transfer markets and everything. I just think it's a great soap opera from the beginning of August till the end of May. You know what I'm saying? It's just a great sort of.
And it's a great filler when there's no rugby that you can at least bet on the soccer as well. So yeah, it's an exceptional league. Hey Gary, we better give away a 500 Rand voucher to the guys on the live chat. What game should we pick to ask them for a prediction or something along those lines? Unless you got something else in mind.
No, you want to pick a Super Rugby game, Brent?
Yes, I think that. What about the Shark Stormers?
Let's go Shark Stormers. I like that game. You know.
Okay, so we'll pick. I have picked the Lions game for the Beat the Certs, so we'll talk about that one at the end on Twitter. But let's talk about Shark Stormers, guys. We'll keep it nice and simple here. We want to know who's going to win the game. And I tell you what, I'm going to change things up a bit, guys, because you've got the likes of the Oracle Rugby are very shrewd. They wait until all the predictions are come in, and they quickly nip in with their prediction right at the end. So I want to know who's going to win. Okay, the guys are already predicting. We'll keep it like that for now. I want to know who's going to win and by how many points they're going to win. And the closest one will win the 500 Rand voucher.
Absolutely.
Okay, so far the boys are coming in around the handicap. Sharks by 6, Setas, Ruin for Sharks by 8. Let's have a look here. Brad Chislett, Sharks. Brad, you better put a scoreline there. Otherwise, you're not going to be in. So far, the boys are all pouring for the Sharks. I reckon that means that Oracle's going to come in with the Stormers. Edward, Sharks by 21. So, yeah, I mean, I must say, Gary, I do make the Sharks minus one of my better bets of the weekend.
Definitely. I mean, I've been fairly impressed by them. You know what I'm saying? And I think that if you look at the Stormers team, which I've spent quite a lot of time looking at, I think that they might be found up front. You know what I'm saying? Just in the top, you know what I mean, the front row. I think that's where the Sharks are going to put a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying, Brent? I really think that, you know. It'll be interesting. You know what I mean? The Stormers missing a centre. They got back yesterday. It's like I said, which Stormers side's going to pitch up? The one that went to Pretoria or the one that played at home last week? You know what I'm saying? And that will determine a lot. But I just think that the Sharks got a solid front row. And I think that everything works from behind that. And I think the Sharks, let me throw my prediction. Maybe I can get the free 500 Rand bet. And if I do, I will have a bet and I'll give the proceeds to charity. I'm going to go Sharks by 10.
Sharks by 10. Okay, yeah, I think that quite a few guys coming in that region. We've seen as big as Sharks by 21. I haven't actually seen anyone predict the Stormers yet. Oh, hold on. There we go. Stormers by 5. Kevin Turner's come in with the Stormers by 5. So he's got a fairly good chance if the Stormers do arrive there. But, yeah, I must say, the only thing about the Sharks is they're one of those teams that every time I start really believing in them, they tend to let me down. So I guess that's also the worry for punters moving into that game.
Yeah, 100%.
And otherwise, Gary, what else catches the eye on the weekend before we get into your Beat the Search? You're going to obviously have the sevens, but, I mean, are you guys going to be up trading that, or is it the sort of tournament you price up anti-post?
Probably be online. Probably will be online if they offer it, so yes. Brent, I think that if I just go back to the rugby, I know that we're going to run out of time. I just think, in my opinion, a lot of money for the Rebels. You know what I'm saying? A lot of money with the Highlanders missing Ben and Aaron Smith. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying to the punters, be a little bit cautious, you know? Those two aren't the players they were in 2016 and 2017. Yes, they're big names, but are they going to make that much of a difference? Be cautious before you fly into the Rebels.
Well, I must say, I've seen the support for the Rebels, and there's been lots of it on the Good for the Game forum. And I know the early handicaps were, I think, plus 6.5. And last I looked, the Rebels were actually favourites. And I'm actually with you on this one, Gary. I'm saying, gee, aren't the guys reading a little bit too much into this? And let's face it, in New Zealand, when you bring in the second string, they're normally pretty damn good players as well. Australian rugby have had one good weekend. I mean, that Brumbies result against the Chiefs, I didn't see that coming, and I doubt anyone did. But people are suddenly talking Australian rugby up, and I'm thinking it might be a bit premature.
Well, I definitely think, I mean, if I go back the week before, didn't the Waratahs fluke a 1-point win against the...
the Hurricanes beat the Waratahs by 1.
Yeah. So,
yes.
So, you know what I mean? There are a few things that concern me. I'm not so sure. But then having said that, I'll tell you where I see a little bit of value. I see a little bit of value in the Reds. I think that the Crusaders might be giving too much thought there, Brent?
Yes. Well, one of our shrewder punters, Southpaw, based in the UK, he got on very early in the week. He said, look out for the Reds. I think he got on 16.5, 15.5. And generally, guys have followed him. And a lot of the logic is also around the New Zealand protocol around players, Gary. We'll talk about that on the handicap show tonight as well. That certain players are only allowed, or they've been given guidance to get no more than 180 minutes in the first 3 weeks. Right. And so there's actually guys who've gone and actually made a note of how many minutes guys have played. So there's certain players that you kind of know are going to be subbed after, for example, 53 minutes this week. So it adds a fascinating sort of duel from a betting point of view. And I think gives the punters a bit of a chance to beat the bookie.
Oh, definitely, 100%. You know what I'd like to do, Brent? We all know. And I mean, I don't want to think that we'll be big deals and people follow us around the world. But I'm starting to think that, where the spreads come out, right? So we on a Sunday. Right?
Yes.
Definitely it has an influence on everything. People know that we first and look. But I'll tell you what I'd like to do, Brent. I've got an offer for guys, right? Let's run another competition. We'll work out which game it's going to be now. And the person doesn't have to take it up, right? But if he wants to, this is my offer. We will send him the games, right?
Okay.
Right? Every one of our caps. On Sunday evening, he has to have a bet on all the games. All 6 games, he has to put 200 Rand on.
Yes.
Right? But we will lay him 500 to 200.
Right.
On each one, right?
Okay.
So, only to the guy. So, I mean, that's a great offer, Brent.
Yes, that's for sure. He's getting, for sure. I mean, he hits all 7 games at 3.5 grand.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You get first look at the handicap and he's going to get 5 to 2 instead of 9 to 10. So, let's give that to the first person. Let's do that in the Lions game because that's the one that we discussed. Let's do something along the lines of Yankees because, I mean, he's looking to become a player that scored 1,000 points in Super Rugby. Let's predict how many points Yankees scores on Saturday. Closest to it, you know what I mean, can have that offer. And they don't have to take it. They can decline it if they want. Right,
okay. So that's the offer. Gary will send you the handicaps on Sunday night. Just to mention, Gary, I've been chatting to Dave on Sundays as well because I do a handicap projection show now, which has become quite popular. I linked up with a guy in Australia on our live chat last time. Otherwise, I linked up with local punters. And we actually set our own handicaps. We try to get out ahead of you guys, or even as we did the week before, simultaneous with you coming out. And guys can actually, and it's interesting to see, I always like handicapping the game myself because it just gives me that feel as to whether I'm heading in the right direction. And when a bookmaker like you comes up 8 points different to me, then I've got to look at it and say, okay, am I wrong or is the bookie wrong? Because let's face it, sometimes you look at it and you realize you're actually wrong.
You can both be wrong. So let's do, besides that, you choose a time, right?
Okay.
It's going to come out on Sunday, right?
Okay.
As anybody, you send me that time and Dave will send you through our handicaps at that exact time.
Okay, excellent. I will get back this particular Sunday. It might have to be either very early or very late because I'm going to the cricket.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll talk about that and I'll let the guys know on Twitter and all the rest.
Perfect.
Just have some of the predictions coming out here. Neil's going 14, Ruan Faree 14, Sean Nicholas 16, 15, 10. Oh, we've got quite a few predictions coming here on Yankees, Gary. But I guess we better wrap the show because otherwise I'm going to overrun into the handicap. I just quickly want to share my screen and just share the beat the cert bet. Gary's gone for the Lions and Sharks to win. You can win 1,000 Rand free bet if you're closest and the cert is beaten. So you need one of those sides to actually get rolled. Tweet the game winner and total points in the Lions v Bulls game, and you win the voucher if you're the closest. And the cert loses, and that's how to enter, guys. You can have a look at the show afterwards. There won't be any rush. Twitter at Brent Graham, the show link, and hashtag GGGaming gone mad. And there's an example below there as well.
Okay, Brent, just before I run up, next week Justin will do the show. I'll be in Joburg for the WPT poker series that starts on a Friday. Another probably 20-odd million Rand that we're going to give away in prize money there. But I'd like to just say that we haven't had like a really big 25,000 prize.
Right.
I caught the 2 tries, you know what I'm saying? Not because he caught it, the 2 first try scorers. But the following week, if you remind me, I'm definitely going to have something. Not going to be easy, but we'll give away a 20,000 Rand free betting voucher if somebody can get something clever.
I can almost see the boys salivating in the live chat. Gary Lentin, thanks very much. Great catching up with you. I'll try hook up with you when you're up in Joburg for your poker tournament as well. I've been watching quite a lot of poker on YouTube. I reckon I'm improving with every week.
Well, we'll put you in one of the tournaments. Maybe the tournament that starts next Friday, Brent. We'll talk about it during the week.
Excellent, Gary. Thanks very much. That was Gary on GG Gaming Gone Mad. You can subscribe to the show just below this. And in about 6 minutes' time, we're going to be going live with a handicap rugby chat that matters. Cheers, Gary.